Superstars, how's it going? This is Coach Wood, and we are back, you guys, for another amazing week of content. So glad to get back with the crew. If you guys are joining us for the first time, welcome to the family. This is the Before You Go Pro channel. As you can see, we are a football channel. So we're not covering any other sports. We love them all, but every single time you tune into the Before You Go Pro channel, you know what we're talking about. We're talking some football, baby. So I'm excited to get into this week's content. Draft week. This is draft week, depending on when you're watching this. And some young men's dreams are going to come true, which is always special, you guys. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. Once again, I'm your host, Coach Wood. Please consider checking out that subscribe button if you like the content that you're hearing, because we bring it every single week, Monday through Friday, you guys, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. This is where you can find us. This is where you can find the lovers of the game, and we get after it. We talk strategy. We talk some of the trending topics. We talk rule changes. There's always rule changes at the various levels of football, and we talk about how our athletes and the families of our athletes can take things to the next level. So thank you for stopping by, and consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, in the description box, we've got some special resources for you down in the description box that you can take to the bank. Some of it literally help you get scholarship money, get some NIL money. So check out those resources as well. Let's get into today's topic, you guys, to kick off the week. Thank you for spending some time with Coach in the huddle, baby. And as always, we're going to bring the things that we're hearing, the things that we're seeing. Some of you guys have big time aspirations and goals, and we want to help you guys achieve it all, okay? So today's topic, you guys, since we are getting ready for the upcoming draft, today's topic is about how the draft has changed. How the draft has changed, you guys. Literally just read an article, and it was a scout and a GM with the Ravens. The Ravens GM, Eric DeCosta, he said that things are different. He's been in the game for a while, and he said things are definitely different with the draft. We're seeing a lot of older players that we're evaluating and that we're scouting. And according to Eric's prognosis, he thinks it is all because of NIL. And this is interesting, you guys, because a lot of times we see what the pros do. We see what the NFL does. We see what Major League Baseball does, the NBA, and then it affects the college and the high school ranks. So traditionally in sports, you guys, we see things trickle down. Everybody's kind of at the whim of what the pros do. When the pros are drafting certain players that fit a certain physique, then you see the colleges trying to mimic that, and then you see the high schools trying to put guys in positions to get to the next level. So a lot of times things trickle down. What about the NBA? The NBA has been poaching high school kids for years. We never got to see the LeBron James. We never got to see the Kevin Garnett's, the Kobe Bryant's in college basketball. And it was because the NBA always got first pick. Well, now we're looking at the football side of things, and football at the NFL is saying, hold on. We're not seeing the level of talent that we're used to seeing, and we're definitely not seeing the ages, the young pups that we used to see in the draft, you guys. And this is a direct hit. DeCosta said it. It's a direct hit and a ramification of a residual of NIL. And he called it like it was. He said guys are being paid to stay in college. They're being paid now to stay in college. So literally NIL. It's crazy because we always thought of how the athletes were underserved. I played in the NCAA Division One at the highest level. We always thought about how the athletes were underserved, and the athletes definitely were. But now, by the rule in place and lack thereof, actually, with NIL, it's actually affecting two levels of football. It's affecting the NFL, where they're saying, hey, we're not getting the grapes. The grapes aren't as young and they're not as juicy when we pluck them from the college vine as they used to be. And then also what we've talked about at length, how the high school level has been affected by NIL and what's going on. So what happened in my day, you guys, was that you did not, and I mean, obviously there were schools, come on, we all know there were schools that did things under the table. You know, you're a superstar. There was, I'm not even going to get into that's a whole nother weekday huddle. But for a fact, there are plenty of players throughout the years who got paid under the table and deserve to get paid under the table. Some of these people that were bringing so much to the universities. Now the money's on top of the table. Now the money's on top of the table, and because the money can be on top of the table and these kids can touch it at younger ages, nobody's rushing to the league. Nobody, very few guys are rushing to the NFL. My day, if you had a significant junior year, you were waiting. You were waiting on that NFL report to see where you were going to be drafted, what round they thought you could go in. And if anybody, most of the guys that I came up around, if anybody was sniffing second round, they were gone. They were gone out of college because it was going to be their first opportunity to touch some significant money, maybe even some life-changing money for their family. Now, kids are touching life-changing money in college. The premier cream of the crop kids, you see this kid right here, the cream of the crop kids are touching life-changing money in high school, you guys. So nobody is rushing to go pro. Think about it. Really think about it. If I'm someone that's projected as maybe a second, third, fourth round pick, why would I go to the NFL and fight? And let's say I'm a junior, so I've got one more year of college eligibility, or I could go to the NFL. And let's say the NFL does see me as a prospect, where it's basically, hey, second, third, or fourth round, you're going to be off the board. In my day, guys would have been jumping for joy and they'd be gone. Today, you guys, they're like, why would I do that and fight for a roster spot if I'm in the third or fourth round? Third round, you're probably gonna make it, but if you fourth round, you kind of fighting a little bit. So why would I go? If anything, let's say you know for a fact you are going to make the team. Let's say you're a first round guy, even a late first round, second round, early second round, mid round guy. Why would I go and make just a little bit more? Because once you drop past that first 10, 12 guys in the draft, a lot of the money starts to be slotted, you guys. It ain't like it used to be in the NFL. They're trying to make rookies earn it. You're trying to get to that second or third contract. Why would I rush when I got a whole other year of college football? And keep in mind, if I'm a second to fourth round pick, that means I'm a premier college player. I'm a premier college player. And depending on my position, if I'm a quarterback or a rush end or something, I'm making $1 million plus. I'm making $2 million plus. Why not be the man in college? And also keep in mind, if I'm at that level, I've probably already made money freshman, sophomore year. So why would I, in that junior year, so why would I rush when money isn't an issue? I got money in the bank, and I could play this senior year and make a couple million. In Sam Levitt's case at LSU, the quarterback make 4 or 5 million. Why rush to the NFL? You seen Carson Beck? Carson Beck made almost 10 million, if not 10 million, playing for the Hurricane. Why rush to the NFL where you're gonna have all the pressure? Depending on where you get drafted, you're probably only gonna make a little bit more, and you can be done with football. Something happened, you start having injuries, or just the production ain't what people thought, you can be done with football. You can be out of football in a year or two. Why rush to that? Why rush? So what DaCosta's saying for the Rams, and I've heard this from many GMs and scouts, is that, hey, the grapes aren't as plush coming from the college vine right now, where they're saying they're interviewing guys that are 24, 25 years old. If it was back in my day, you never got a guy that was really 24, 25, 26, unless maybe he was playing pro baseball or something. You never got guys out of college that old. So now they're getting guys that they have to label them as rookies. But these guys are 24, 25, 26 years old. And what DaCosta is saying is you kind of already know a guy's ceiling once he gets to the 25, 26, 27 years old. You already know what you're going to get, and there's not much development there. Also, he says they're coming in with more injuries, because they're older, and they're playing more. There's more tread on the tires from college. They're coming in with more injuries. He said typically they would transition, or they would think that whoever they're drafting, especially if it's at the top of the draft, first, second, or third round, that they would have that guy, if he was a solid player, for two contracts. Now, if you have a kid and you're getting them at 24, 25, 26, two contracts is getting into his 30s almost. So it gets dicey for these GMs, for these organizations on making plays on these guys because of their age, because of the fact that they're older. They don't know how to evaluate these guys like they used to. So very, very interesting, you guys, where things are at with the football industry. This is a football industry thing, where now there's been a major rule change in the middle of football, because the bottom of football is going to be your Pop Warner and your high school. Your college is in the middle, and then the pros in the top. This change in the middle has changed everything in the industry, you guys, where guys who are young aren't getting the opportunities that they should get, and then the guys who want to pick from the middle, they got to wait to pick from the middle. So we got old grapes, we got old prospects in the middle, you guys. So this is kind of what Donald Trump was getting to with the potential injunction, the potential ruling that you get 5 years out of high school. You get 5 year window, and then you got to move on down the conveyor belt so that we can keep this thing. It's clogged up right now. It's clogged up in the middle, and that's what the NFL teams are saying. There might not be a first round quarterback, because there's nobody that they really, really are head over heels for. Maybe Simpson from Alabama, but there's a lot of teams, and this may be a result of teams just not seeing really the youth that they want and the talent that they want. There's some talented kids in next year's draft, but you're going to probably see a lot of teams trying to move out of the first round this draft, because we're just not hearing the big names. We're not hearing the big names and seeing the big names. And there's more and more juniors, redshirt sophomores and true juniors that would have jumped in if they were broke right now. But they're plush right now. And they sitting back in college saying, I love this. Yeah, I got a little pressure on me because Sarkisian's paying me a little bit. Yeah, I got a little pressure on me because Lane Kiffin's paying me a little bit, or Kalen DeBoer is paying me a little bit. But it's not like that NFL pressure. This level is pretty easy for me. I'm just going to take this couple million right here instead of go to the NFL. I'll wait till next year on that. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. So it's going to be very interesting to see the names called at the top of the draft. But think about it, man. If I'm a prospect, and let's say I was making 700, 800K, let's say I was making $1 million, and I had another year of eligibility, and I jump in the draft, and I end up going 6th, 7th round, everybody's going to say, why don't you stay in college? Everybody's going to say, why don't you stay in college? Back in my day, they know why you didn't stay in college, because you broke. Today, they're going to say, why don't you stay in college? You know. So, very, very interesting times. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think it is smart for a kid to just say, hey, I'm going to take a little bit less and I'm staying in college? Or do you think that these kids better jump when they're hot? You know, when hey, you had a hot junior year, you better jump. And just go to the pros. So let me know what you guys think. Also, hit that subscribe button, you guys. We are tremendously close. I think we're 90 people away, 89 people away from 1,000 subscribers. We're going to have to do a special giveaway when we get to 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you send this link to your friend. Tell them to subscribe. Help us build this football community. I love you guys. We'll see you at the top.